Hello, my name is Alex. I am a student of English literature, and this is my story. I want to tell you about my life in London and my fantastic teacher. You can read my story and learn English with me. It was a beautiful summer day. I was traveling on a train. Two women were sitting opposite me, speaking English. I didn't understand much. I was studying English, but I was a beginner. I didn't know many words. Still, I wanted to communicate, so I started speaking to them using basic English. To my delight, the women understood me. That made me happy. I told them I wanted to learn English. They told me they were from England and were returning home from a conference. Our conversation lasted for about 10 minutes. When my station arrived, I said goodbye. Before leaving, the women gave me their address and phone number, inviting me to visit them in England. After this meeting, I worked on my English every day. I translated texts and watched films in English. In just 6 months, my English improved significantly. But I wanted to learn even more. So, I decided to go to London and study English there. Arriving in London. When I arrived in London, I joined a language school. My first lesson was on Monday. I met my teacher and other students in the class. My teacher was a young, kind, and humble woman. She introduced herself, and we did the same before starting the lesson. She asked us some general questions about the English language to assess our knowledge. Our teacher told us she used a unique and effective method to teach English. She said, "You will not have to study from textbooks. Instead, you will have to use English in your daily life." This approach turned out to be perfect for me because I often found textbooks confusing. We then discussed what is important when learning a new language. Our teacher explained that language is a tool for communication, allowing us to express ideas and thoughts. The best way to learn a language is to use it actively. In our course, we would focus on speaking and practicing English as much as possible. Many students focus on memorizing vocabulary and grammar rules but do not use the language for communication. Our teacher emphasized that while learning words and grammar is necessary, we must practice using them daily. This method made learning English much easier and more enjoyable for me. How I learned vocabulary. On Tuesday, I returned to school. One of my classmates asked an interesting question: what is the best way to learn new words? Our teacher explained that reading is the most effective way to learn vocabulary. People who read learn new words twice as fast as those who don't. She recommended reading for at least 30 minutes every day. She advised us to choose books or texts that are interesting and suitable for our level. When encountering a new word, we should look it up in a dictionary to understand its meaning. This method helps us remember the word naturally without needing to write it down. Reading also teaches us how words are connected in sentences, improving our overall language skills. Later, we discussed job opportunities in England. I wanted to work in my spare time, so my classmates suggested visiting a job center. After school, I went to the job center and spoke with a lady who helped me find a job as a waitress in a cafe. She assured me that my English was good enough and that I would get more practice speaking English at the cafe. I was excited to start my job on Thursday. Improving my pronunciation. On Wednesday, a quiet student from South Korea asked our teacher for advice on pronunciation. He understood English well but struggled with speaking because he lacked confidence in his pronunciation. Our teacher explained that pronunciation issues occur because we use our mouth muscles in the same way as in our native language. To improve, she introduced us to a technique called shadowing. Shadowing involves listening to a recording and repeating what we hear at the same time. It mimics how children learn their first language by copying their parents. Our teacher showed us a video demonstrating the shadowing technique, and we practiced for 3 minutes. She also recommended using shadowing before presentations to improve pronunciation. I had never heard of this technique before, but I found it fascinating and decided to use it in my learning process. Later that day, I inquired about sports activities at school. I was happy to learn there was a football team with training sessions that same evening. I joined the team and met players from different countries, including Brazil, Japan, Russia, Spain, Argentina, and Italy. I enjoyed the training and felt that my time in England was off to a great start. A new student and a new technique. On Thursday, a new student named Elizabeth joined our class. She was from Italy and had previously attended a 2-week beginner's course at our school. Now, she spoke English fluently with excellent pronunciation. Our teacher praised her progress and asked how she had improved so much. Elizabeth revealed that she learned English at home using techniques she had learned from our teacher. She practiced reading, shadowing, and thinking aloud. I was curious about thinking aloud, so I asked my teacher what it meant. She explained that it is a powerful technique that involves thinking in English and speaking your thoughts out loud. While it may seem strange at first, it helps learners become more fluent quickly. Elizabeth shared her experience with thinking aloud. At first, she struggled because Italian sentences were long and complex, and she had to simplify them for English. But over time, thinking in English became natural. She even had a conversation with an Australian tourist in Italy and realized she could speak English fluently without translating in her head. This encouraged her to use the technique even more. Conclusion: my learning journey continues. I found all these techniques, reading, shadowing, and thinking aloud, to be very effective. I started using them every day. I also followed my teacher's advice to spend 40 minutes daily on reading, listening, thinking, and speaking in English. With each passing day, my English improved. I gained confidence, made new friends, and enjoyed my time in London. My teacher's unique approach to learning English changed my life, and I will always be grateful for the experience.